You are now listening to the sounds of
Hailing from Southern California, Project Blowed, Good Life. We on this podcast watched This Is the Life, the documentary of the Good Life. This man was highly featured in that, and we're glad to have him on the podcast. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. Give it up for ELLAY KHULE.
Hell yeah.
Rifleman, baby.
What's up? What's going on?
How you doing, brother?
I am maintaining, doing great.
Nice. Do you switch it up between Rifleman and ELLAY KHULE? What do you like to be called, or what do you go by most of the time?
And people call me all sort of different stuff, but I guess my closest comrades just say cool. But I'm cool, LA cool, I'm Rifleman. It depends on what time and what place you figured out who I was.
Hell yeah.
How did you get the name LA Cool before you were Rifleman or vice versa? How did that come about?
That's like a story. I made that name in I believe that was 1987 while I was in history classes. Some sort of history lesson where they were saying something about slaves. Some slave masters would name slaves by either their temperament, something about them physically, and then the region that they were from. So, like Charleston Slim or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Or Crazy Eddie. So, I thought that was just an interesting concept. So, I adapted it for myself and created one for myself.
And that's one of the many good stories that you tell in your new book, King Khule, that was just released super recently, man. I've been enjoying it very much. Told, like Parker Pub says, told by your voice. You can almost hear your voice speaking as you're reading it. And I do want to jump in to more of the book in a little bit. But you guys got done with Project Blow 29, the 29th anniversary show, bro.
Almost 30, dude.
That's fucking awesome.
Incredible, dude. Congratulations.
How was that show overall? And then how important is it to keep those anniversary shows going for Project Blowed?
The show was really dope. It was a great turnout. Being that it's on a Wednesday, in the middle of the week, it takes people time to get there, and people gonna leave early. So, like up till 9:00, I was looking around because I do a merch booth as well, so I get there early all the time. But I was looking around like, this look like it's gonna be slow tonight. But then by the time like 9:40 hit, it was crazy. People lined up outside, a lot of people inside, upstairs, downstairs, and it started picking up, it started moving. So it was dope. But I think I just think that's part of our legacy to keep that going. The only people that really do stuff like that is like High Road Day, things of that nature. And of course, it's not 29 years old, but, they still have a big festival. So I think this is part of our legacy to continue on. I believe the anniversary will go on as long as people are living. I think it'll go on forever.
That makes it more important too. Like in some ways, it happened on a Wednesday, so people took time. It wasn't like something that they're like, I can make it. No, you made sure that you were gonna be there, so it just means more to see the crowd like that.
Well, people.
Yeah, it was a great show. Go ahead.
People travel from all over the world to see this show, and the cool thing about the show is, like, everyone is on the lineup. This is like a full roster lineup that is performing on stage, man. When you get on stage, Rifleman, do you still feel little butterflies or any nerves going, or are you just super calm and collective since you've been doing it for so long?
Yeah, I don't really I never really got nervous. The only thing that I would say, it just depends on what I did before. Like, I try and say if I'm gonna drink or smoke, I try and do that either while I'm on the stage or after, because But if it, it takes so long to get up there when at a certain tier, it takes long to get up there, and you be like, damn, man, I was to hit that bar. Then people like, oh, let me buy you a drink. Let me buy you a drink. So
Accidents
I
happen.
I usually worry about doing too much of that before I get on because, I say, it's easy to color out the lines when you had a little, a bit much.
For sure. You got to
But getting nervous, I don't get nervous though because it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Whatever it's gonna be is it's gonna be received however it happens. So, you know.
You're documented as one of the best freestylers ever. Do you still kick a freestyle somewhat regularly, and do you freestyle on stage when you're up there?
Oh, most definitely. And that's kind of like it leads into the question prior, because when you draw outside the line, say, sometimes usually when I start freestyling, it's either somebody caught my attention in the crowd, probably in the wrong way, or something distracted me, and then I bumped off of the path that I was on, and then I jump off of it. Sometimes I get right back on it. Sometimes I just keep going in the freestyle. But that's what we learn as good lifers in Project Blow. Like, no matter what's happening, the show must go on. You got to keep going no matter what. So.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lost skill, being able to, when you, like you said, get distracted if you're in the middle of a verse, be able to just jump into a freestyle to kind of save the entire song, not just throw it out and just be like, oh shit, or start it back up from the top, which you could do, but it's I think it's more, especially from a fan's point of view, you look at it and you go, oh fuck, this is a real MC right here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He saves face for us real quick. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Sometimes when you're not, really prepared, it's a lot of different ways you can look at it. Like, say if I'm doing a free show, then I'm gonna do way more freestyles than normal. Let's say if I'm doing a show that's gonna pay me really significantly low, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go in there, and if whatever happens, gonna happen. Now, if I'm getting paid like some good money, yeah, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna practice, I'm gonna get everything together, I'm gonna organize the show set, and might have some talking and some bombs going. You know what I mean? Like, I might put some Superman energy into it. So, it just depends on what you're presented with.
Yeah.
So.
Do you find it still important to separate the difference in like freestyle? Because obviously your idea of a freestyle and my idea of a freestyle is something improv off the top on the spot. But nowadays, obviously, a lot of kids think that a freestyle is just a free verse or something that hasn't been laid down on a track yet. Do you find it important to kind of separate the two, or you just kind of let it go and just do your own fucking thing?
Well, yes, when I say the term freestyle, I definitely mean rhyming off the top. But let me also give a little lineage to both of those, because for the most part, like on the East Coast, they would say freestyle and just mean like a random verse that's not on a particular song. Mostly, not all, but mostly. Like, say back in the day, but then I can give another flip side to that on the East Coast as well. Roxanne Shante, she used to freestyle for real. When she's like battling Busy B at 15, 16 years old, she's freestyling for real. So they, but it wasn't really a lot of that going on, so they probably didn't even use that term like that. Most of the time you heard freestyle on the East Coast in the late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, it just meant a random verse. And now, because of that lineage, some people still think that that's what it is, or they still go down that path of history. But, we the ones like really kicked it off, to freestyle off the head, to make it like the norm or like a real thing, and not to say that it wasn't being done before we came. I'm just saying, as a full collective. That was part of what everybody had to do. You probably really couldn't even get accepted if you didn't freestyle.
Like when you go to battle somebody and you know right off the bat that he's got some stuff he wrote down, you automatically give him less respect, I would imagine. And then when he turns around, you can really realize he's actually freestyling. Don't you just feel that much more, I don't know, you feel like you're that much more in the situation, more into the whole, it's going to really go down now?
No, because me, I've never been one of those people to, especially in war of any type, I'm not one to tell a person what they can and cannot do when they in the midst of a fight. Yeah. Because if I'm in a street fight, you can't tell me what to do unless we say, all right, man, you know, no kicking, don't grab me, you can't spit on me, you can't grab my hair, you know, shit like that, which don't ever happen. There's no rules to a street fight, so guess what? Anything can happen. Dirt picked up, you might get your nose bit, like I mean, anything can happen. So the same thing in a real freestyle. A certain person's power might be these random rhymes that they wrote, and they might have a certain level of power with that. And then when they freestyle, their power level diminishes a lot. So they rather use the thing that has the higher power to them, which is it's like a knife or a gun. So I get it, and I only would trip if they said this is a freestyle contest, not a battle. Because in a battle, you could do anything you want to. But if they say, yeah, we got to have, see, like we used to do battles where it's like you have 3 rounds. One is written, one is freestyle, and one is to a beat. So you give them, you know, you give it duality with it. So it's like, well, I could be strong right here, and they could be strong right here. So if we do both of those and then throw another one in, you know, like to a beat, whether you freestyle or wrote it, then it gives it it makes it a little more even. But say if you're powerful at all 3, you don't care. I can do all 3. Yeah, I'm gonna bust on a track. I'm gonna freestyle off the head, and I'm gonna come with some really great written rhymes too. So I wouldn't mind whatever they chose to do, because as far as I'm saying, in my mind, I think I'm gonna beat all of it. Sometimes you can beat. Look, here's another way to look at it. Sometimes you can beat somebody's best written rap with one of your mediocre freestyles. Now that makes you feel like, oh man, I'm way better than you, or you're actually some sucker whack ass MC. So it just depends. Like, you know, I've seen people really get demolished on freestyles, and they was like spitting their best rhymes that they had written for years. Sometimes it don't matter. Like somebody's freestyle can actually beat your written, and I've been in situations like that, and I've seen many of my homies demolish people just like that.
And that's basically what happened with the '97 Rap Olympics when you battled against Eminem and his crew. Basically, you came at him so hard he was just left stunned, didn't know what to say. Correct? Is that kind of how it went down?
Yeah, but they don't tell the story like that. It's been a long time to where they did say that they lost, but then in the funniest way, if you ever notice, like before a few years back, it's always like they just lost and we just leave it at that. There's no particulars to anything. We just lost in 1997 when we went to LA. They really don't say the names of anybody. They don't say the crews of anybody. They don't say how they lost. It's just always like, yeah, we lost. And then from that, yeah, I went to the studio with Dr. Dre or whatever. You know, it's always like real quick, and then you just move on. So the detailed stories are rarely ever told. So I guess that's why, you know, it's important for these books. You know, Riddler, his book was prior to mine. Now Otherwise book is coming after mine. Micah 9 was prior to Rids, and then 2 Mixes was prior to Micah 9. So it's all, you know, consecutive, and I'm sure it'll go on in some sort of way, no matter who's doing it. So, you know, it's just good for those stories to actually be told in detail.
Man, most definitely.
Definitely, especially to get them written down too, because literature is something that's dying, but I think that it's also something that's very important to have something written. I mean, it's for you. It's going to outlast your life, so it's something that you're going to leave behind for people, and it's like a map, a guide through hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's why that's one reason why I always keep doing music, and I wanted to do the book because for that reason, really, I know how long things last once you're no longer here. I've seen it happen time and time again throughout history. I always tell my buddies, it's like, why are we always talking about Shakespeare or any of these people that we never met and really don't ever know existed in a reality of truth besides a story that was told to us by other people and so on and so forth. Generations and generations keep retelling the same story. So we don't know if any of it's facts, but we do know that there's a great story behind all the stuff that we hear. So you can put your own stories out, and hopefully you might be one of those people that are talked about in 100 years in history, and people will say, well, did this really happen like that? Did this person really existed? Is this the true story, or is this like a mythical story? So, even if it's in legend, it's still good to be talked about years and years and years after. So that's really how I run all the stuff that I do. I continue trying to put bricks to the building that's building my legacy and the legacy of the Bloadians and the Good Lifers.
For the book, is there going to be an audio book coming out for the people out there that just don't have time to sit down and read it? I mean, is there an audio book that you're going to probably get behind and read it yourself?
I am definitely going to do that. Yes, and I'm probably going to add some more chapters, some more stories that weren't told. So I believe that is my plan for the up and coming year.
When sitting down and mapping out the book, did you know it was going to go as long as it went, or did you know exactly how you wanted to just kind of make things,
Did you go into it like you were writing a 3-verse two hook song, or did you know, or did you just go and free flow write?
Yeah. Was it tamed?
Well, basically, what it was is the book was done just like how we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all three was over there recording like you're doing now, the audio could be broken down into a book. It was done just like this.
That's tight.
So
I like that.
But it wasn't it was of course contrived questions to get certain stories out, but not questions that I was asked prior to think about either. It was, he just thought of what he wanted me to say or what story he wanted me to tell. So he prompted me and asked me certain things, and then from those certain things, it ties into other stories that I'm going to remember by myself and things of that nature. So, and it actually was going to be longer, but it was the time. It was a lot of things that was, dragged out. So we just cut it, at a good spot.
Congratulations.
I had more good ones to tell too.
I will say this.
Congratulations on the book.
I will say
Great
this
book.
about the book. The book, super easy read. So if you're a person that is like, I hate reading books or whatever, you don't enjoy reading, this book makes you want. It just flows smoothly as you're reading it. So again, it sounds like Rifleman is sitting there telling the story to you. It's an easy read. Writing books, was that something that you've always wanted to do in the back of your mind since back in the early days, or is this something that you just kind of started getting into, seeing that your close homies like Micah 9 and Tumex have come out with books? Was this something that you always had a passion for?
See, I would say yes and no, because right now, for the past 2 years, I've been working on a couple of comic books.
Oh, that's
dope.
I
want to do comic book sort of things, but I wasn't really thinking about books like that. But of course, I read a lot of great books, Miles Davis and so on and so forth. I read a lot of good books back in the day. That's actually what gave a lot of us insight to the stuff we was listening to back in the day, we used to all pass around books at the Good Life and the Project Blowed. So we would all be reading the same books, pass it around. I read it. All right, cool. Pass it on. Pass it on. Whether it's a, a musical book, whether it's Behold the Pale Horse, it's just a lot of stuff we was just passing around at the time. So it just so happened to be, it was a lot of books that had to do with music and certain sort of conscious levels. But we also used to read stuff like Donald Goines and things of that nature, like street story books. So, I guess it's took its natural course for us to be now putting out books, because all the books we used to read and pass around just at the Good Life and Project Blow. So I think it's a good thing that we can put it out and we can be here to see how people respond to it, and not like a book is put out after you pass away and you don't know anything about it, or you never get to
you didn't get your hand in it. Yeah, you never put your hand in it.
And
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
So-
And I was thinking that's crazy that the way you guys pass around books, that's like the internet back then. You know what I mean? Back then, the internet was you guys just
Sharing
packing around
knowledge.
sharing knowledge, and that was like a Google search for you was, hey, this dude's got the pale horse or whatever.
Yep.
Like you guys were passing around the internet back then.
Now being a published author, and you're now getting into the comic game. Is that where you see yourself going now? You no longer see yourself writing any type of hip hop books. You're trying to move into that whole genre of now just comic books, and because that's pretty awesome. Are you illustrating too for these comic books?
Yeah, I'm doing, because originally what I was doing is I was taking pictures and then put them through programs like Photoshop and Illustrator and things like that, and just tweak it and turn it into like a cartoon. But it was actually from real pictures that I took to have the book going. And then I was downloading comic book storylines, how you place all the pictures, and you want 4 slots, do you want 2, you know what I mean? I was doing all that stuff, but I was doing it with actual pictures and actual programs that you use like on your computer. But then once I learned that pretty decently, then guess what popped up? AI.
Mm-hmm.
So then now I took all that information, and now I'm utilizing that, creating characters or embellishing on characters that I already had. And also, I was dealing with and I still am, people who will illustrate certain things, but the problem is people take so long to do anything that it could be a year or two will pass and you won't get one book done if you wait on everybody. So and I also I run a print shop too. I own a print shop, so I can put it together too, because I do funeral programs, and that's the first way that I'm gonna do my first comic book. The same way I do a funeral program, the same exact way. So I'm doing all of it myself.
Using
the way it goes.
AI to assist you in making the comic book, is it able for you to keep that as your own, or is there somebody telling you, oh, you gotta get copyrights on this, or how's that work out for that?
Oh, I'm getting copyrights on all my stuff, and if one of these programs sees something, or we just have to go to war for it, because But what I usually do is I send my stuff through. Yeah, can y'all hear my phone ringing?
No,
Perfect.
Is your phone ringing?
If it's ringing, we can't.
Okay.
If it's ringing, we can't
I
hear
usually
it.
send my stuff through like multiple different things. So even once it's done and one of them, then you send it to something else. I tweak it like 3 or 4 times before it even, gets printed out. So it doesn't even look like whatever the initial AI might have been, because I put it through a multiple program.
Smart. That's a smart.
But
answer.
I'm not even worried about that. Like I always say this, and I'm copywriting my name, my concept, and all of that. So I'm not worried about if one of these AI companies say something, because guess what? If they do, then we just go to war about it. You know,
I don't think it
that
works.
mean
Like I said, I don't think AI works like that. I think like once you create it, I think it's yours because it's nobody's.
well,
You know what I mean?
some
Isn't
of
that,
them
isn't that,
have these because I've been watching like a lot of videos and shit. Some of them have these usage clause and if like a. But I'll be like, man, hey man, listen, come catch me. That's all I'm gonna say.
it's all.
Because
Isn't it funny? It's all good until you make money. The minute you start making money, then they
that
care.
part.
All of a sudden,
No,
you
but
can
that's
make
what
a
I
million
said, though.
pictures, and
I
all of
feel
a
if they
sudden,
catch me,
yep.
then guess what? I did something good.
There you go. I always say that. Come get me. You
So-
sue me, you know I'm making noise.
We can go to war about it and do all of this stuff because all it's gonna do is make some hungry youngsters be like, man, I'll do all that shit for you, man.
Yeah.
Let's create an app and we can do all of that.
Ain't
So
no joke though.
I'm not worried about it. If somebody come at me, then I succeeded.
You made noise.
I don't
made
look
noise.
at it like, oh, they gonna come and take my money. Like, yeah,
Fuck them.
whatever.
Yeah, fuck them. Let them come. They
you've
gonna
been-
find you.
You've been in the hip hop game now for almost 40 years. Has it been 40 years that you've been in?
Easily.
Over 40 fucking years in the game, and everything has changed from from you having to go into a studio and record on 4-track to now people being at home, being able to record on the computer to AI now.
Phone and AI, yeah.
How has that transition been for you through this time, and how do you find that drive and that will to keep it moving to stay doing what you're doing, because you haven't really lost your step as you're getting older. And
let me piggyback off that. Do you have to find it hard to maybe change your style with the times, or do you just keep it the way it's always been?
Okay, the first part, I would say that like I say in the book, man, I'm a second, third generation musician, so this is just in my DNA to do this. It's not I'm not one of them people who look at this stuff like a chore or like like when the underground and the BLOWED was like really at this high level, and then now we kind of fighting back to get up there. You see a lot of people being bitter and all sort of shit. I am not in any of those categories because when I started rapping, I didn't rap to tour or to get paid. I rapped because I wanted to be dope and I wanted to make some dope songs. And guess what? I'm still dope and I still make dope songs. And I just happen to tour around the world and happen to, get money and stuff like that. So that was just a perk. You feel me? So I'm not mad that, it slowed down. I look at it as a challenge. I feel like it's back to 1990 now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta get back to where I was, like that sort of thing. You know what I mean? I love it. Like, I don't have no problem. And then to go off what you was asking about flipping or changing the style, like that's a yes and a no. I do all sort of music anyway. It just so happened a certain flow of my music people adhere to. So, but I do all sort of music and I always did. Now, I have a group with my niece called Black Crush Velvet. That's like some soulful hip hop with singing and real soulful neo soul hip hop sort of beats, and that's sort of vibe. And I'm real mellow, as far as not being over the top with the flow and stuff like that. And it's real calm. But so yeah, you do things where you change up, but not really. I'm not a person that change up to be trendy. I change up because I always change up. You listen to any of my CDs, none of them ever sounded alike. Not one, and I have a lot. They don't sound alike because I always flip every now and again. But then look, if y'all saw any clips from the anniversary, I blew up, went crazy, and all I did was old songs. Mm-hmm. I didn't do one new song at all, and I got 1 million of them. But I knew what I was doing. I stacked my set with the classic songs that everybody liked.
That's what we want. We want that. We want that
I did
that old
it
stuff.
purposely like that, and then it came off crazy.
That's the way it should be, though. I mean, if I go see you, I want to see nothing but the hits. I don't want to see what you've been working on over the summer.
You should though.
I do though. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I want to see everything that's dope. I don't want to see. Hey, I know y'all see. I had a little drop this week. I want to see who's singing it with me. No, I don't want to sing it with you. I want to see the good stuff.
Hey, you don't have to fix what's not broken, you know?
Exactly. The car runs good. Don't do anything different.
See now, but that also goes back to what I said about, a pay scale or what an artist want to do. Like, if I'm not getting paid what I know that it's worth, guess what? You gonna hear a beatbox session.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck what you want to hear. You feel me? Because it ain't up to you what you want to hear. It's up to what show you went to and who promoted it.
Yeah.
You feel me? So if you have some big ass show, of course you gonna hear those songs, but and not to say that at only the big shows they pay right. I'm just saying sometimes the artists, they aren't getting what they want and or deserve. So why would I bust all my hits?
Yeah. That's
you don't
like
go in there flex.
It's a business.
You're gonna get that
Especially,
song that I did yesterday, and you're gonna get that song with my nephew on it, and he gonna come up and bust his part because guess what? Now I'm filling up time.
Yeah, you got fillers. You got a bunch of fillers in there.
Yeah.
So that's just how it go as art. Like I don't let people just give me anything, and then it's just like, especially when you do that for so long. You know what I mean? Like we grew up doing stuff like that. So guess what?
The crazy thing is though is that sometimes those shows are probably the dopest shows. Sometimes when you just catch a free show with you on the tip or a show that didn't cost very much and you go catch it on the tip. Sometimes those shows are so fucking dope. You live and you tell about it forever. I went and checked them out. I seen them uptown, and it was super
guess what?
dope. You know what I mean?
Those are the shows that anything goes. It's improv, it's freestyles. It's
those ones are my favorite
beatboxing.
sometimes. Yeah, those ones are sometimes my
because
favorite.
You know what? Look, now here's the difference between the hits and anything else. Like, you have to look at it like this too. Some of those shows were specifically designated and carved out for you. And you're the only person that's going to ever get that one in the way that was.
That organic,
so you got to look at it like that was special too.
Yeah, fuck
now,
yeah.
You feel me? And it was only you and 100 people that got that one show that will never be done again.
Yeah, but to one of the 100 people that was in attendance, that is like something they'll remember for the rest of their life. You know what I mean?
And now we're chasing that vibe.
Exactly.
I'm chasing that one next time. I'm like, hey, but I'm telling people before we even walk into the next venue, hey, you weren't at that one show though where he was fucking, we're beatboxing, he was chilling, he was with the crowd. And you know what I'm saying? I get it. Yeah,
because
for sure.
It's a custom show.
Yeah.
Some of those shows, those custom shows, been my best shows ever. You know what I mean? Like, because you never know what's gonna happen. You could bust out some duds, or you could bust out all bombs, and I don't mean like you're bombing it. I mean that you dropping bombs. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it just all depends, and it's also, like that what was that, NBA jams where you only on fire for a certain amount of time in the game. If you was on fire the whole game, it wouldn't be as interesting.
That's true.
That's
it would be whack. It would be whack.
You gotta heat up somewhere. Like, he's on fire. He busting now. Look at him.
Is it the shoes?
The story's got to be told somewhere.
We don't want to take away too much from the book, but you're most definitely one of the originators of that chop style, man, and you helped create that.
We were lucky enough to talk to Self Jupiter and Micah and talk a little bit about the chop style. So
yeah, is that something that you were just conscious of, or did it come naturally as you were evolving your style over the years?
Yeah, it's well, me, I was one that was doing it in the 80s, but I touch on it in the book. I had a I would call it like a more primitive cadence, because I'm still like 14, 15, but it was still fast, but it was just the same one flow. I wasn't really doing a lot of wiggling with it, as we would call it, interweaving. I was just sticking on that one pace, but it was fast. So, I learned as I got older and I met different MCs, especially like a Micah 9. Even though, I knew Microphone Mike, but, to like freestyle with him and, write songs with him and stuff like that, it will give you a different perspective of not just rap, but sound in itself, audio in itself. And then at the same time, of course, we was listening to a lot of bebop music. We were listening to a lot of dance hall music, which are both pretty fast and paced. And it just kind of, it all culminated at that time. I don't think remember I was saying how we used to pass around the books. We really used to study this stuff. We wanted to know what Miles Davis and them cats was going through, Thelonious Monks, and what their day was like and how their studio sessions was. In a way, there was times that we were like patterning ourselves off of them, not musically, just like their scene. Because if you look at it, there was a scene called jazz, right?
Yeah.
Then bebop came into it. Okay, there was a scene called hip hop. And then the underground and the choppers came into it. So we look at ourselves like the bebop. First, people didn't get it. Then they had to like adjust their hearing. Like, oh no, that shit is on, and it's so on that I thought it was on.
Yeah, I always looked at it like the
Ahead of its time.
not even that too. It's just like that piece of the pie that got left in the underground. You know what I mean? The one that just got left down there, but it evolved just as fast and as quick as hip hop itself in the underground. How important was the Good Life? Because it was such a short time. When we as fans look back on it, I think of it like as a huge, like a decade-long thing, but it was really a short period of time in your life. How effective and how big of a part, a big of impact did that make on your career and your life in general?
Or did you even think it was happening of a big impact or anything on your life when it was happening at the moment? Did you even notice it? Yeah, were you conscious of it?
You had to have.
Most definitely. But it's still like you can see things happening around you and, not really take real focus on what's happening. Because say like I could see things starting to pick up, but it got so normal that it was just like, yeah, it's just a regular Thursday up here. You just, like I always say, I was just trying to serve all them dudes on Thursday. Like I wasn't trying to like, oh, I'm gonna really go make this song to go get a record deal. I wasn't really on that at the time. I just wanted to beat everybody rapping. Like that's what I was on at that time. And yeah, people did, come see me about signing me and things of that nature. But just like how I reflect now, back then I think I was way too raw for a lot of these labels and people. They knew that it was something real dope. They just didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Like the A&Rs and now they don't even have A&Rs no longer. So it's like you have to be somebody, and then they have to be like, all right, yeah, I think that's viable. We can spend some money on that. Like you already got your shit together.
Yeah, it's stupid because it's like they didn't know how to market it, but it marketed itself. You know what I mean? It's
they already have people who are liking it. Yeah, it's already liking it.
It's already there. You know what I mean? You don't really have to do much with it.
That's funny, and it's true.
It's like if some people are liking it, you obviously heard it. So if people are making noise, let him just keep doing what he's doing. Just put something behind it so he can keep doing it.
Put the machine behind it. And
just put a little money behind it so he can keep doing what he's doing.
Hey, do you mind?
Yeah. Then also, when you said the Good Life, see, what you have to keep in mind too is, we never stopped. We took the same people, the same everything, and just went from one place to another place. It wasn't like some period where we stopped doing anything. We literally went from one Thursday being at the Good Life to another Thursday going to Lamert Park and creating the Project BLOWED. So it was just, it's been that long. So it's really like, I consider it to be like like the 33rd or 34th anniversary, actually.
Damn.
And
Feel me? Because
I've heard
there
that.
was no difference. It was only the places were different. The people who own the spots were different, and that's about it. Like some people are just good lifers, but that's a small amount of people, and then some people are just Bloadians, and that's a bigger amount because we stayed at the Blow much longer, and we got a lot more time to develop our younger homies.
Such a sick name
just
too.
makes sense, just
Bloadians.
makes sense.
Hard name. Super hard.
Yeah, and that obviously that transition was seamless for you guys to be able to transition from that to doing the Project Blowed because you guys had such a
Look, and we
core
were so
group.
cocky. Look, we changed the name. Who does that? Who does that? We were so confident. Like, look, watch
Money
this.
was in the bag.
We are
already.
now Project Blow.
Yeah.
And that shit went crazy too.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, and it's awesome that you guys were impacted as youngsters by Good Life, and then you go on to create something like Project Blowed that helps impact a lot of lives in return, a lot of young lives coming in, especially in LA. How important has it been for you to continue to work inside that community and just be part of the community and stay there?
And you know what's funny? While I'm sitting right here, I am 2 blocks away from the Good Life.
Wow. Amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah, how
And
many
I've been over
motherfuckers to
here
say
for
that?
over 15 years where I'm sitting right now. I'm 2 blocks away. So when I saw this place, I said, definitely, this is where I want to move. I knew the connection and correlate. I knew everything. I was like, oh, yeah. And look, the room I'm in, this is my studio. It had a little room in the back where I could, like, do graffiti and shit on the wall and put my equipment. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm moving there. And then the first day I was here, I put on, before I even put any equipment in here, I told my homies, thanks and P.E.A.C.E from WAI and UTI to come through, and they bombed every nook and cranny in here. They bombed it up.
It looks cool. It looks hella cool.
Super clean.
Hey, Rifleman, as we're kind of winding down here, and as we're on the topic of the Good Life, do you mind if we do like a quick little rapid fire? I throw out a Good Life attendee, and you just give me a few words about that artist. Is that cool?
Whoa.
All right. First one, Medusa.
Medusa, the queen of the power of the peak. You know, Medusa came in and shook everything up. You can see it, of course, on the movie. But, you know, Medusa, I think Medusa is the old soul. She's been here probably 1,000 times before. And the version that we see of her is just another reincarnation of a dope-ass sister.
I like it. Pigeon John.
Pigeon John, my boy Pigeon John, man. You know, I think Pigeon John, he has something connected to him and people around him. Because I heard people say, like, I think Mona Lisa said something like, you know, people wasn't giving Pigeon John his props or he wasn't accepted with us. But that is not true. We accepted him. We cheered him on. We did everything to propel because he was different. And if you see his interview on This Is the Life, he said when he blew up for the first time and he came outside, who was there to talk to him? Me.
Yeah.
So no, we gave Pigeon John love. He just wasn't like everyone else, but that don't mean you get shunned because of that.
Yeah.
You know, I love that dude all the time since the very beginning.
It's all love. Bus driver.
Mr. Just want to hold your hand when you die, huh? Bus driver is, man, I remember when he came in, and the funny thing about Bus driver is, say a lot of people got Please Pass the Mic, right? And then they let it break them. The first time Bus driver rapped, he got Please Pass the Mic. Now, the same way Pigeon John tells that I was talking to him, I used to do that with everybody that I thought was dope. So I'll pull a Bus driver to the side, and I said, don't listen to them, man. I said, dude, come back, work on your lyrics. I said, your sound is good. It just seemed like you don't have no control over it. And then look what happened.
Yeah, man, he's a master of the lyricism now,
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
It was crazy shit.
Some tongue twister type raps.
Yeah.
Abstract Rude.
Abstract Rule, look. When Abstract came, man, I think the first version of Abstract to me is the dopest. And I'm not sure if everybody got to see that. It's around the time of that skinny dreads looking like a rag doll. Give me a mic, I'm gonna serve each one of y'all. Yeah. A little bit before that, the songs he was doing, they were so cool, so melodic. He had a real mellow voice, and he just he had a good presence on his songs, and he knew how to really use that voice that he had. And I'm talking about he was probably 15, but with a real deep melodic Barry White type of monotone, and he wielded that power with that voice very exceptional in his first 3 or 4 songs, and I think they came out on the tape. So if anybody could get that first tape from Abstract. That's his dopest stuff ever.
As a younger fan, I always thought that Abstract Rude was one of the OGs, like one of the older cats in your crew, and I didn't realize until I started watching like the documentaries and seeing shit on YouTube that he was always the younger cat in the crew coming up.
Yeah, no, he didn't. See, he didn't come around for a while because initially you had to think like out of the real OGs, and I mean the first string, I was the youngest. All of them thought that I was their age because I had been there with all of them all those years prior.
Yeah,
I was originally the first youngest.
Wow.
The second youngest would be P.E.A.C.E.
okay.
And then you come Abstract.
Okay.
Like a year or two. They're like a year or two under me. Both of them. Boom, 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 boom.
So you guys were all pretty close then.
I was the first OG youngest homie out of everybody.
Yeah, but you always carried yourself as one of the OGs, one of the, like I thought, I always looked at you as one of the older cats.
No, because I was, though, because these are still my peers. I was just, because you can say like, all right, say if you 11, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody's 14 or 15, that's a big difference back then,
difference,
right?
Fuck yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing if you're being like, all right, I'm 16 or 17, and then somebody's like 20. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
But I hung with them dudes all these years the whole time because my brother is 3 years older than me, and he went to school with Micah, and I believe Jupiter went to Dorsey too. So my older brother went to school with them, so I always been around doing it. Like 3 or 4 years ago, Mike just realized that I wasn't the same age as most of them.
Damn,
He thought the whole time.
I would have thought that you were the same.
I told him how we was hanging out on my birthday, and I told him I just turned whatever I turned. And he was like, "What? Man, I thought you was at least old as me or a year younger." I was like, "Hell no."
I thought I would have said that.
Like, hell no. Damn.
I would have said that you were Micah 9's age.
Hey, and the next one on the list, Micah 9. Do you have a few words to say about Micah 9?
Fucking broke his heart. Thought you were saying age as me,
Micah 9, he the architect though, but that's the reason why I could say that I'm not his age, because I remember Micah 9 being one of the first LA MCs, period, microphone Mike. So Micah 9 has always been G. I think Micah 9 is to say it in one word, he's the architect.
Yeah, man, the architect. That's a good term for him. Do you remember that time that Fat Joe came through and got booed off the stage?
Of course. Tell him. Of course he knows this story.
No, but look, like JMD says, he did not get booed. He got asked in a respectful way to please pass his mic.
Yeah.
So boo is to say boo.
That's the difference. You're throwing shit at him. Yeah,
that's true.
Positively, respectfully, please
pass the mic.
Pass the mic.
He was respectfully booed.
Pass the mic.
There's plenty of people that don't have microphones. Just be one of those people without a microphone in your hand.
That part.
Yes.
Just fade back into the crowd. But
be a person
I'm going to say this because, I remember the night, and I think I said it in the book as well in a couple of interviews. I think not just the reason that he kicked the rap he did and he cursed is that was the first night I ever did the song called Rifleman, and I extremely exploded the building right before that. Like, because if you know that song, it's really fast, it's really intense, it's screaming and gunshots in the back. It's like it's a Sade sample in the middle of it. It's a lot going on, moving in that, and that was heard for the very first time that night. And that's one of my most popular songs to this day. And then he tried to come in. He didn't have a beat. He went a cappella. He bust really slowly, and he cursed. So it was just all bad for him.
Wasn't his night. It wasn't
and
his
he
night.
acts like he's not butthurt. But I saw an interview about 2-3 years ago. He's still talking about that shit.
Yeah, it's in the head.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be. I mean, you go on to have a good.
But come on, man, you're a multi-millionaire. Who gives a fuck that some young dudes in LA booed you?
Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, get on with it.
Hey, if
You got a great career.
You know
move
why
on.
he give a fuck? It's because he know how significant we are now. See, he get it, and he wanted to be official because if you think about it, everybody in LA, all the labels used to tell all they so-called rappers, if you want to get certified, you got to go down to the Good Life.
Yep. I've heard that many times.
Yeah.
He got his chance.
Now, guess what? He got Please Pass the Mic, so did he get certified? That's why he's still mad.
You didn't get the stamp.
Certified
You didn't get the
pass.
stamp,
A
homeboy.
You didn't get it.
A
No.
certified pass.
But guess what, man? Fat Joe got a big old house out there in
Fuck yeah.
Miami.
Who's
on
winning?
the beach,
Yeah.
on the ocean or something. So,
Yeah, who's winning?
So what? You know what I mean? Like, if I
who's
was
counting?
him, I
Who's
wouldn't be
counting?
thinking about it.
Yeah.
And if somebody asked me about it, I'd be like, I act like I know who we was.
He in the shower right now. He in the shower right now thinking
If I was
about
Fat
it.
Joe and I was writing a book, it wouldn't even have a chapter in my book. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'd be gone. Why is there no chapter 7? Had to skip it.
Well, I want to say, LA Cool, thank you so much for spending your Friday night with us,
You're a
being
good
generous
dude.
with your time.
You're
We
a good
appreciate you, man.
Hey,
And-
before we go, LA Cool Rifleman, if the people out there don't know, you have a successful son who's a rapper, Suspect. I've seen him all over, no Jumper, all that. He has great tracks though, makes good music. What kind of knowledge did you pass down to him? Being that you've seen it all throughout your 40+ year career, what kind of knowledge did you make sure to pass down to Suspect?
Well, man, first I'd like to say this. I'd like to say that a lot of that stuff is just in his DNA, and he grew up. You have to imagine this. I didn't have to tell him a lot. You have to realize this. Look where he grew up, and look who all his uncles are, and look who his dad is. He grew up in all of that. He grew up in everybody's studio. He grew up at the shack, with CVE. He grew up with AC Alone and Mike 9 and them at the studio we had over there at Lemerck. Like, he literally grew up in all of this stuff. Like, sometimes I didn't have no babysitter, and I used to have to take him on stage with me. I'm talking about like when he couldn't barely even walk, and I still had to do my set with him in my hand. So this is just he just grew up like that. The one reason why I respect what he do is he never tried to really ride on my coattail in any sort of way. He figured out his own niche. He figured out his own set of producers, his own comrades that he wanted to rap with, so on and so forth. Like, Diddy used to, somewhat emulate me and us back in the day. Yeah, of course he did. But there's only one thing that you can see publicly where it's like that. And then the next thing you see after that, he already then found his sound and his style and his niche and everything like that. So it was he was at a cipher. I don't know if it's a Rhyme Fest cipher, but it's out. And it's me, AWOL, Neb Love, Jism, him, and Cholo Lansico, I believe. No, I think Cholo Lansico didn't come. And then he told me he wanted to rap. And I didn't even know that he had no verses or nothing because he was producing. And then he bust, and he did good. He's 15 years old. He did good. And then a year after that, I did the last Rhyme Fest, 2013 Rhyme Fest, the last one. And he was my backup, and I gave him a verse. And that's when he caught the bug to he saw like 20,000 people in front of him. So that was really the day he was like,
Damn.
This is the shit I'm on.
The beast
Yeah,
was
that'll get you.
created.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah, for sure. Because I tell people, man, people do rap for 15 years and don't get 20K people in front of them ever.
And you gave him a hot fucking 16 real quick. You be like, hey, just go and drop this real quick while you're out there.
Yeah,
People are gonna like you. They're gonna like you.
This
This is what you gave him everything.
It was a song we did. Now look, here's the thing. But if you go look, the video is on YouTube. Go look at the video. I got like eight rappers with me. Most of them we didn't have songs. I made sure that 8 of my homies, including my son and my nephew, got to rap on my set in front of 20K. You feel me? And we didn't even have no songs at the time.
Paid in
Most of them.
full. Paid
You
in
know
full.
what I mean?
The debt's
I made
paid.
sure they could
The
all
debt-
bust
the
and
debt
get
is
up there.
paid. Thanksgiving, we ain't talking
But
about
that's-
it. Christmas, we ain't talking about it.
But that's
nobody
what-
owes you nothing. We done settled it. We're allowed to come back over. The fights are happening on Saturdays. It's settled.
But
you
as
took care of everybody. You took care of everybody.
as a person in your position, that's it's good as a fan to see somebody doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And to see that you're in that position and you're able to give back and be able to do that, and you're not just able to do it, that you do it.
Yeah.
You in turn redo it. I respect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all you can fucking ask for at the end of the day. You know what I mean? A little bit
Now,
of respect out the world.
Look, now guess what? Let me tell you this real quick before we
Yeah.
out of here. Now look, now people know me for one thing, or what they think they know me for, or my past or whatever. But in real life, you can ask any of these MCs, any of these rappers, any of these underground people. I'm probably more helpful and do more stuff for people than a lot of people, and people that you may look up to, and you be like, oh, this guy, he's a conscious rapper or whatever, and then in real life you be like, this dude's a snake for real. He ain't gonna do shit for nobody. So, no, for real, it's funny how this shit works. Like, people look at me like I'm about to go kill somebody, and I ain't, I'm good for nothing or something. And then I'll be like, nah, see, in real life, you only looking at like a character, on music or on a video or something. You don't know me as a person, because I'm always gonna be a person like that, and I've always been a person like that. I do Tuesday sessions, open studio session. I've been doing that for 15 years. Anybody is invited to my session on Tuesday to come in here and work with us and do whatever. You feel me? And not because I need it. It's because I like to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I've said
Passion.
It's crazy to think though, because you don't hear a lot of people that are like that.
Passion.
That are like, oh, I like to do it. Yeah, it's a hit and miss. I mean, you always hear that, like, oh, there's that good guy out there. He's doing this for Christmas with the lights for the fucking for the people to come see it and stuff.
But to like to do it.
But to like to do it is crazy, because people take a lot of motherfuckers for granted, and to see someone who's enjoying that, that
means a lot.
Means a lot. That's a hard thing to do. So,
Humbled.
more to you, brother.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Hell yeah, no joke.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much, like I said, for spending your Friday night with us and taking time out of your night. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see what you got going on in the future, and hopefully we can talk to you again.
Yeah, you're all around good dude, bro. Good conversation with you.
Yeah, thank y'all. And 2024, just look for a lot of good things. I got more stuff dropping. I got the group thing I told y'all about, the Black Crush Velvet.
Yeah.
My comic books, they're going to be starting to surface up. All my old school stuff, I'm restreaming it because they took some stuff down. But this year, my clothing line, just watch. I'm going to be out there. My book, I'm promoting it everywhere, making sure that at least people know about it. I had a couple of books that I bought for Christmas for my family, and then the ones that was extra, I took them to the show, and they all, of course, jumped off my table. I didn't have any more. I signed everything. Like, everything was cool. So I think, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that 2023, was a real hard year. It was hard for me too, but guess what? It was hard, but I was drowning, but I learned how to swim. Let's put it like that.
You learned something out of the whole year, and
Hell
yeah, that's.
I feel empowered by what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we appreciate you and appreciate you reaching out and sending us a copy of the book. It's been
King
awesome.
Khule.
Awesome to get into the King Khule and read about it and read about your past. And like I said, can't wait to see what you got going on in the future. Where is the best place that people can support you and find your music and all that type of thing, but also the best way that the money comes straight to you?
Well, that's a good lead-up question. I am one of the only one, if not the only one, who has still had my .com going since the 90s.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
That is LAKHULE.com, and it's spelled ELLAYKHULE.com. It's still up. It's still active. I still sell merch on there all the time. I think since I had it how it is now. I think I'm about to revamp in January, February, do something different, make it look new. You know, we got AI capabilities now, so I might revamp it. But it's been going on since the 90s, man. So, you know, hit me up, LAKHULE.com, or you can hit me up on LA Khule on Facebook. And then it's OG_Cali_classics on Instagram. And that's my clothing line. But that seems to be where I'm at the most because it seems like that's the most activity going on.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're
LA Cool.
Hold on
You're
to that
able to
motherfucker.
hold on to that.
Hold on to that motherfucker.
That's
That
fucking
ain't-
awesome.
That's hard to do.
That's like having. That's like
Hey.
you still using fucking VHS in the HD world. Hold on to that motherfucker. I know ain't no joke.
I'm holding on to it.
You're
even if I
retro.
gotta
You're retro on the
keep-
internet.
As long as I'm living, LAKHULE.com is going to be a website, and you're going to be able to find out what's going on with me. In any
Don't
sort
fuck
of
with.
way
Don't
on
fuck
that
around.
website,
Hell yeah.
as long
Hell
as
yeah.
I'm on the earth.
Hell yeah.
Well,
I like that.
we appreciate everything that you do for us, and thank you so much for joining us, and continue to keep success throughout your career, man.
Yeah, dude,
we'll
we
be
wish
watching
you the
from
best,
afar.
bro.
Definitely.
We wish you the best, bro. And then whatever you do,
All right.
we checking it.
It was good chopping it up with y'all, man. I like that little trio y'all got, you know. It's
You're a
like
good
the
guy.
male version of Charlie's Angels.
Hey,
There
I
you
like
go.
that. I
There
like
you go.
that.
This one bounced off that one, and it was dope. I like it.
Hell
Hey,
yeah,
shit.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Everyone give it up for the one, the only LA Cool.
Yeah.
Rifleman.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, brother.
Good dude, man.
Have a good night.
Good chopping it up with y'all.